Welcome to Deep Thought. Learn to interpret your dreams. Now, I'm going to tell you what, it's not as hard as people think. See, understand something. Dreams have a language. On a few occasions, it's a direct language. It might show you something about somebody, and it's the real deal. It's telling you straight up it's about that specific person. And I've had dreams like that. There's one dream I had about a person, but there's a strong chance that person listens to this podcast or will listen or could listen. So I ain't going to give that one. I'll just say with that person, it gave me an insight about them. And then the next day they confirmed it. It was scary, but they confirmed it the next day. So, that's one thing. And then, of course, it can tell you about yourself. I shared the instance, very profound dream of me flying, learning to really fly in my last podcast, and how, within a year, I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. So that's one thing. So here's the thing, learning to interpret your dreams. Now understand, like I said, sometimes the dream, it'll tell you direct, but most of the time the dream speaks in a different language. It uses symbols. Like if you notice during when you dream, it's very rare you hear someone talking or speaking, but it'll use symbols to represent something, symbols to represent certain places. So here's how you basically learn. One, definitely there are books out talking about universal symbols. And that's cool. You can check them out. But I'm going to tell you what. Every single person has something that represents something when you dream. So the first thing, if you want to learn how to interpret your dreams, try to write them down as much as possible. Try to write them down. Now, some people don't do it. You have the dream, you wake up, you got to go to work and all of that. To the greatest extent it possible, especially the most intense dreams. Now, the most intense dreams, you can remember them. You can remember them because I can think of a few dreams I've had even decades ago. I can still remember very well. I can remember them very well. But the thing is, try to think, what does this dream represent? Now, here's how you do it. You got the notebook or whatever you're going to write on, tablet, whatever you're going to write on. Try to think, whenever you have a dream, whatever symbol you have, whatever person, yes, you can think about who they represent literally, but think about what they might represent to you on another level. Like I used the example in the past, one of the past podcasts this week of a stingy uncle who's not really representing the uncle, but representing the bank. So when you have a dream about specific people, think about them in two ways. Who they are to you, what they represent to you just as a person, but then what else they represent. Like you might have a dream about a certain person and you think that's the person, but then you think, okay, well, wait a minute, what do I know them for? Oh, they're a police officer. So that instead of representing the person itself, they represent a police officer or a cook or, it could represent a certain side of a person that you know. Like say it's, okay, for the fellas, say it's a woman that you really want to have sex with bad. So when you see her, you see a sexual person. So when you might have a dream about her, but it could represent her, or it could represent that sexual person, a sexuality or something. And it could be something that you need to deal with. It could be meant to bring something out on you. Like wet dreams are very intense for a reason. It's very intense for a reason. So that could be one. It could represent that. Think about, okay, what does that person do? What they do for a living? What do you think about? What's the feeling you get in the real world when you're around them? Like they say they represent an evil, annoying person to you in the real world, and you dream about them. It might not be so much the person itself, but it could be a situation, because that's the next thing. Where are you in the dream? Like when I have dreams, there's several locations I would tend to be. And when I look at the locations, there were times I lived in those particular locations. So when I have those dreams and the locations show up, I think, okay, I had a dream I was in this place. What did that represent to me? What did that dream represent to me? What did that place represent to me? What was I going through? What was my mindset when I was in that dream? Where was I? What does it represent? Like, let me give another example from my dreams. Like, two examples. One was a set of dreams I haven't had one in a very long time. And I had more of these dreams really before I started doing what I'm doing now. That's when I really had these dreams. But it would always be I'm in a school. I'm in a school or something, university. And I got to go to class, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what classes to go to. But I had a schedule and everything. It's like, I don't know what class I'm supposed to take. What those dreams represented to me was I had some powerful lessons coming up. I had some powerful lessons, and at the time, I didn't have the tool to deal with them. So I needed to start paying attention in the real world and say, okay, what's coming up? What do I need to work on? What do I need to develop? And eventually I developed. Like I said, I haven't had one of those dreams in a long time. I did have one of those similar dreams recently, a few months ago. And I got an idea what it meant, so I started changing up some things. And indeed, there was another dream I used to have a lot, especially before I started doing all of this. It was a play. And let me explain this. Like, I've always done like public speaking and stuff like that. But I'm going to be real with you. Sometimes I just go there and be like flowing off the top of my head. I be speaking or something that had me there, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Like, my preparation, I was always that person I could prepare on the fly, but my preparation wasn't all of that. But then I would have these dreams where I'm about to be in a school play, and those were something that I was doing in high school, and I didn't know the lines. I would never know the lines, you know? I would never know the lines. But like I said, I was always good at improvising. But then what I learned from those dreams, the message was, wow, when you're doing something serious, prepare. Like when y'all see me do videos and stuff, okay, most of the time it's off the top of my head if it's just a small subject or something. But if y'all notice, especially on my men's channel, when I'm sitting in front of my bookcase, I'm in Professor Rom mode, which I don't see is right in front of me off camera is a whole outline. When I'm doing educational stuff, there's an outline. And even when I'm doing videos for my other channels, like the on-demand videos or Rom TV videos, I have an outline. I have an outline right in front of me because that was a lesson. It was just like, hey, you got knowledge, but, you know, sometimes you need to be more serious on how you prepare things. And learning that lessons actually helped me because even the stuff I talk about now, like I said, a lot of times I can go off the top of my head, but I actually do think about what I'm going to say before I start talking. Always know. And indeed, even when it seems like just off the cuff or something, before, like when I do my car videos on my men's channel, trust me, by the time I get to the car, I already have in my mind generally what I'm going to say. I already have in my mind. So it's not totally off the cuff. Never totally off the cuff. But that was the lesson. That's what the dream said. And, you know, I use those examples when you have stuff. But the key is to try to say, okay, every time you have a dream, just try to think about, okay, what that thing mean? And the thing is, you got to do what it means to you personally. What does that person mean to you? What does that woman mean to you? That guy, that uncle, that aunt? What does that area mean to you? What was going on? Like when I'll have dreams and I'm in different neighborhoods, but they always tend to be like neighborhoods. It's like I'll have it recurring, but just in different places. I always think as soon as I wake up, I say, okay, what was going on for me when I was in a neighborhood that resembled what I was in the dream? Oh, okay, boom. And it tells you a lot. And I would just say this because this is just a 10-minute podcast talking about this. Look up some books on dream interpretation and stuff. Look up some books. I mean, really do some stuff. But whatever the case, pay attention. Just write it down. Even if you got to write stuff down and take it to somebody who specializes in interpretations. Just do it because it tells you a lot. So anyway, and let's just be real. What I talk about today and the past couple of days, it's just the tip of the iceberg. Not the tip of the iceberg, the tip. Because seriously, dreams, there's people who get into some serious metaphysics. They can tell you it goes a lot deeper. I'm just giving you the surface right now. So anyway, though, I want you to think on what I'm saying. Pay attention to those dreams. All right? So anyway, that's all I have for today. Peace and blessings.